Welcome to Complex Sentences and Dependent Clauses. Our lesson goal is that we will be able to identify dependent clauses and complex sentences. Before we start a new sentence type, though, let's review the ones we already know. A subject is who does the action or is something in a sentence. A predicate is the action in the sentence or what someone is. A simple sentence is one complete thought, also called a subject and a predicate. A compound sentence is two simple sentences combined with a comma and a fan voice. A comma is the punctuation mark you can see on the screen. Coordinating conjunctions are fan voice, the words that combine two sentences. But here's some new important vocabulary. Independent clause. An independent clause is another name for a simple sentence or a complete thought. It has a subject and a predicate and all the information that it needs to stand alone. So if I say, Ms. Jacobson likes Diet Dr. Pepper, that's an independent clause because it's a complete sentence. I've got my subject, which is Ms. Jacobson, and my predicate, likes Diet Dr. Pepper. Has all the information it needs, it makes sense, so it's a simple sentence or an independent clause. Let's practice. Look at this clause, phrase, or fragment. Does it have a subject and does it have a predicate? Based on that, decide if the words on the screen are an independent clause or not an independent clause. We ran laps all morning in PE. We is my subject. We are the people doing the action. Ran laps all morning in PE is the action that we took. So this is independent. My lovely, kind, and forgiving mother. We don't know what my lovely, kind, and forgiving mother did, so this sentence is actually not independent. We were being too noisy in class today. We are the people who did something. What did we do? We were being too noisy in class today. It has a subject and a predicate, so it is independent. I despise tuna salad. I am the subject. I'm the person doing something. What do? Despise tuna salad. So this is independent. Felt annoyed at my brother. This is not independent. I don't say who felt annoyed at my brother. Did I feel annoyed at my brother? Did my mother feel annoyed at my brother? We don't know. Ran by the tree growing in my neighbor's yard. Okay, well, we know what happened. Somebody ran by the tree. But who ran by the tree? We don't know, so this is not independent. She is a Star Wars fan. She is my subject. Is a Star Wars fan is my predicate, so this is independent. After the teacher called on Martha to answer the question. After the teacher called on Martha to answer the question. This is not independent. Wait, what? Why isn't that an independent clause? It looks like it has a subject, the teacher. What did the teacher do? She called on Martha to answer the question. But this is still missing some information. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what happened after the teacher called on Martha to answer the question. What did happen after the teacher called on her? Do we know? We're missing information. After is the word that makes this not a complete thought. After changes the whole sentence. We don't have all the information. What happened after the teacher called on Martha? We don't know. Remember that guess what test we learned back when we were doing simple sentences? Hey, Sarah, guess what? And Sarah's going to answer her, what? Before I traveled to France. Sarah's going to look at her like, wait, what? Did I miss something she just said? What about? What are you going to do before you travel to France? I don't know what you're doing before you travel to France. Why do you stop talking? If it looks like a sentence, but it's missing information that you need, it's a dependent clause. So here's our new vocabulary for today. Dependent clause. A dependent clause is half a thought. It almost looks like a sentence, but there's a word somewhere in the clause that makes you realize you're missing information. A dependent clause will always fail the guess what test. Here's an example. Until I bring my grade up to passing. This is dependent. I is the person. What am I doing? I bring my grades up to passing. But that until changes the sentence. Until I bring my grade up to passing, what? Am I grounded until I bring my grade up to passing? Am I studying until I bring my grade up to passing? Remember, dependent clauses start with a word like until that make you realize you're missing information. So here's our guess what test. Hey, Sarah, guess what? What? Until I bring my grade up to passing? Sarah's just going to look at her and wait. Then eventually Sarah's going to say, what? Are you doing something until you bring your grade up to passing? I don't understand. Here's another example. Since I am a fan of both Marvel and DC, I am the person. What do? I am a fan of both Marvel and DC, but what happens since I'm a fan of both Marvel and DC? Like, we're giving it as a reason, but a reason for what? That since changes the sentence. Dependent clauses always start with a word like since that make you realize you're missing information. So here's my guess what test. Hey, Sarah, guess what? Sarah's going to say, what? Since I'm a fan of both Marvel and DC. What about Marvel and DC? Where are you going with this? Here's some more examples. When The Mandalorian comes out on Disney Plus, although I normally don't like romance books, even though I made a good grade, while you clean your room. Here's some new vocabulary for you. Subordinating conjunction, which sounds like fancy teacher speak. Subordinating conjunction. But a subordinating conjunction, it's just the word at the start of the dependent clause that makes it dependent. So let's practice. Look at the clause on the board. Are the words on the screen independent or dependent? Remember, you're listening. Does it pass the guess what test? Does it have a subject and a predicate? Is there a word in there that lets you know that you're missing information? One of those subordinating conjunctions. I like the superhero named Nightwing. This one is independent. It's a complete thought. I'm the person. I like the superhero named Nightwing. That's what I do. Because he used to be Batman's sidekick. Okay, well, what happened because he used to be Batman's sidekick? This is dependent because of the word because. I love to drink Diet Dr. Pepper. This is independent. I'm the person. What do? I love to drink Diet Dr. Pepper. Although I love to drink Diet Dr. Pepper. Wait a minute, it sounds like I'm about to contradict myself there, but I stopped talking. That although makes this dependent because I don't know what's going on, although I like to drink Diet Dr. Pepper, even though I like to drink Diet Dr. Pepper. Since my basketball team made it to the playoffs. Well, what did I do since my basketball team made it to the playoffs? Since makes this dependent. I don't know if I bought a t-shirt since my basketball team made it to the playoffs. I don't know if I'm happy because my basketball team made it to the playoffs. I don't know if I baked a cake since my basketball team made it to the playoffs. I'm missing information. I hope they win. That's a complete thought. That's independent. We're not missing any information. As the bell rang to start class. Well, what happened as the bell rang to start class? That as makes this dependent. Unless you want to fail the 6 weeks. What do you need to do unless you want to fail the 6 weeks? We don't know. It's dependent. If I hear that song on the radio. What do you do if you hear that song on the radio? If makes it dependent. But wait, what if we use a dependent and an independent clause together? That's our complex sentence. A complex sentence has a one dependent and one independent clause put together. So here's an example of a complex sentence. Since I'm a fan of both Marvel and DC, I have lots of favorite superheroes. Since I'm a fan of both Marvel and DC is my dependent clause. I have lots of favorite superheroes is my independent clause. Since is my subordinating conjunction, so that's going to be my dependent clause. I made it to school on time even though I overslept. Even though is my subordinating conjunction. Even though I overslept is my dependent clause. What happened even though I overslept? I made it to school on time. That's independent. Because I love my mom, I bought her chocolate. Because is my subordinating conjunction. What did I do because I love my mom? I bought her chocolate. Because I love my mom is dependent. I bought her chocolate is independent.